guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of, sorry, I just woke up. Beyond the Harbor! Yes, Beyond the Harbor, we are back. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. Alright, so I think we should probably skip a little, maybe not. Okay, alright. Yeesh, what took you guys so long? Sam shrugs. Huh, it took the long way around. She frowns, tilting her head a bit. Yeah, right, just admit you got lost. It's not being lost if you're having a good time. Bear sighs aloud, shaking her head. After our short time apart, we're reunited again. I think I've already done everything I can right now. There we go. Alright. Oh! New dialogue. Hey, y'all, this is new dialogue. Okay. Let's, okay. That's a reason for me to keep reading. Alright, the bear sighs aloud, shaking her head. After a short time apart, we're reunited again. Nope, we're still missing one. Sam and V argue over something, but I tuned them out a minute ago. My body's been racked with a severe something for the last few minutes. I don't know what time it is, but something in my head tells me it's fast approaching. I stare down at my hands. The shadowy fingers have begun wriggling through my right hand, and I attempt to make the same gesture. Sure enough, as I do more, emerge. It's a strange sensation. I can feel them, and yet I can't. I don't care anymore. My brain has been racing a mile a minute. Thoughts screaming out at me from every crevice of my mind. It's difficult, but in time I manage to quiet them down as well. My thoughts go blank, however, as a single scrawny arm raises slowly from my body, pointing its gauntly fingers towards the curb. At least, I think they're pointing. The hand's gesture is difficult to read, being cloaked in somewhat translucent shadow. In the time between thoughts, another hand rises to meet it, and another and another. The hands all point the same direction, and mine follows them in turn. My own finger marks a spot along the curb of the central terminal, where a long bus is slowly pulling in. Huh? V turns to me, then looks to where I've been pointing all along. What's up, Ollie? Is it that one? I don't know how I know what I just do. The blue bus I'd specified exhausts loudly as it pulls into a full stop. Slowly the door opens. A man steps out, followed by some young-looking kids, a woman in a suit, a few more men. And then the flow of people stops altogether. My heart sinks into my stomach. It couldn't be. I was so sure. Where could he... I'm closing the door and moving on if you don't get off now. I'm closing the door and moving on if you don't get off now. I barely catch her mumbling something along the lines of goddamn hyena trash under her breath. Yeah, Christ. Give me a minute to get my stuff together. Your stop was announced a minute ago. You had plenty of time to do so. So you tell me, you think you have the right to hold up my job? Fuck, isn't your job to get people around? Isn't that what the government pays you to do? There you go, coffee time. The driver opens her mouth to speak again, but a furred arm reaches into viewing distance with a finger raised to silence her. I know that arm. If his voice didn't make it obvious, that certainly did. I'm leaving, and I don't think I didn't hear that shit you whispered. It's Don! Don Corleone! No. It's the Godfather. See if I can do that Godfather voice. You never go against the family. There you go. Yeah, there you go. I nailed it. Okay. Don. The hyena I make eye contact. The uncomfortable sort that harms the soul. He looks entirely different from the image that had been floating in my head for these years. Even if his face is the same, he looks older. We'd only made eye contact for a second, and that's all it took. Huh. His hair is different. His outfit, his face is still the same, though. I hear Sam whistle beside me, admiring the view. How about that? That's not the train wreck I remember. There's a lingering spark of jealousy that flares up in my core, but it dissipates before it can turn into anything more. The polar bear, meanwhile, simply shakes her head as he approaches. It doesn't matter what he looks like now. He's still the same Dawn. Dawn's eyes only lock with mine for a brief moment before they transition fully over to the bear's. She glares back, gaze hardening to that of steel. Defying belief, his expression becomes even more sour. The two seem to have a mental battle for minutes, hours, days. Couldn't have been more than a few seconds since Dawn admits defeat pretty quick. He closes his eyes and shakes his head. Yikes, what'd I miss? I want to know what happened between all these people. Don't worry about it. Here he comes. Sure enough, his slow saunter towards us has begun. He keeps his head low as he walks, leaning towards us forward a bit. Never broke that habit, I guess. He stops just before reaching us and jams his free hand into his pocket. His eyes lock right back onto V's. There's an uncomfortably long silence as I try to force myself to say something when suddenly Sam... Well, look at you, hardly the scruffy hyena I remember. I'd assume you were an imposter if you didn't have his attitude, too. He scowls, narrowing his eyes. So... Yeah... She folds her arms. I didn't plan for this. He didn't tell me. Sam gives a cutesy smile as he waves at the hyena. Dawn just rubs his snout in response, sighing loud. I had a fucking feeling this was gonna be what went down. He turns back to V, lifting his chin. Whatever. If there were any other circumstance, I'd assume you were just trying to keep me out of it. He thrusts his free hand back into his pocket, turning his gaze back over to Sam. There's a brief glare before he shakes his head and sighs aloud. Last face I thought I'd ever see again, this handsome fucker. Sam smiles, shrugging off the obvious sarcasm with a bit of poison of his own. Oh, ho, ho, ho! I can say the same to you. Your face is so much prettier without that dopey hair hanging in your face. It's like one of those watch who you call ugly in middle school memes, but... The cat pauses for a second, rubbing his chin. Never mind. Huh. Dawn scoffs and shakes his head. Whatever. He closes his eyes, breathes out slowly, and turns back to V, skipping over me entirely. Alright, tell me. V tilts her head. What? The plans. The fuck we doing about this? The bear narrows her gaze, pursing her lips a bit. I don't... We ought to catch up somewhere. I'm sure you've got some stories from the last 4 years, huh? I really rather wouldn't. You know why I'm here. He pauses, further sharpening his brow. Not for whatever the fuck this is. He gestures towards us with his free hand. Eh? But what are you gonna do until tomorrow, then? And where are you gonna stay? Not with me, that's for damn sure. His eyebrow twitches as he's shot down before he could even ask. Not sure what you're expecting there, bud. Oh, the fuck you staying, cat boy? Cat's smile curves upwards, expanding its pointed edges to the very top of his cheeks. He doesn't know. Look at this lad. The cat chuckles to himself before responding. I'm with your ex if you couldn't tell, hyena boy. Sam's bold claim punctures the conversation once again, and everyone involved turns to him, including me. Don's face goes dark for a second, but he shrugs it off pretty quick. Fucking whatever, I wasn't looking for an answer anyways. He glances at me briefly, sees my own shock at the claim, and smirks. Sure, I believe you. You two were practically made for each other. The cat just puts his hands on his hips and smiles wider. What? Of course, that's why I'm here, after all. Ollie gets so lonely by himself. I think he has some abandonment issues. Wonder why? Dawn scowls again. Really? Ollie, what do you hope to... Oh, I'm sure he has words for you, friendo. My eyes widen as the cat continues his streak of speaking for me. I don't think I've spoken a single word since Dawn first stepped off that bus. The hyena surely isn't entertained because he opens his mouth to retort. I don't... That's just about enough. What the hell is wrong with you guys? The bear throws her hat back into the ring, demanding all of our attention. Like now. Have you forgotten why we're even here? Let me spell it out for you. My grandfather is dead. I invited you here because we are attending a funeral tomorrow to pay our respects. And do you really think this is what he would have wanted? Especially out of you, Dawn. I despise you. I think you're the absolute scum of the earth. But Grandpa thought the world of you. You were the son he never had. And yet here you are, after everything he's done for you, spitting on his grave with your petty arguments. I hope you realize all of this... She shakes her head, gesturing towards everyone. This relationship drama bullshit, it's unnecessary. The bear breathes heavily. This entire thing seems to have taken a toll on her. I don't blame her, though. With everything going on, it's easy to forget that she lost a family member, that Don had lost a cherished figure. Don sighs, folding his arms and hanging his head. No, you're right. He wouldn't have wanted this. The tension hangs thick in the air, thick enough that even Sam wouldn't dare break it. Don turns aside, voice faltering as he speaks. All this is absolutely fucked. His eyes lock with mine, and I feel the intense bursts of hatred for V redirect right into my abyss. Just stop, Donovan. V wipes her cheek, shaking her head. This isn't coming up again. I'm putting my foot down right now. The silence in the air hangs thick again as V puts the topic to rest. Lahaina shifts around uncomfortably, however, as it weighs heaviest on him. The burden of this sweater grows. So what then? Is this it for my welcome party? The funeral's tomorrow, but the only bus I could catch on short notice dropped me off today. So what now? V folds her arms again. I'll be busy tomorrow morning before the funeral, but I wanted to spend today catching up with Ollie. Did you actually plan for that? The cat turns to the bear, but she just ignores him. You're welcome to do whatever you want. I won't miss your company if you decide to run off. Don slits his eyes, scoffing at his old friend. Damn, give me any fucking credit at all, huh? Sam places his hands on his hips. You? Credit? You don't... V glares sharply at the cat with a glare powerful enough to stop him in his tracks. Horrifying. Well, you didn't ever really want credit for anything back then, either. You were always the guy in the shadows for the time I've known you. Bullshit! He turns to Sam, folding his arms. I accomplished a lot, considering the shit I've been through. Lahaina shakes his head, letting out a long sigh. Whatever. So then, what sounds good? V shakes her head. Alright. I don't know. I hadn't planned for having as much free time as we do. Sam holds a finger to his chin and thinks. You've been awfully quiet, Ollie. Why don't you choose what we do? Don buries his face in his hands. Ugh, just pick something. I literally don't care. The ideas swirl in my head for a moment before... We could check out the arcade off of 4th. It's not a long walk from here. V tilts her head. Arcade on 4th? I thought that it had closed down years ago. A nod, pulling a hand out of my warm pocket. It did, but a private collector bought it out and opened it back up to the public. I've been there with Trev once or twice. It's pretty nice. Yeah, that sounds cool. The cat perks up, clasping my shoulder. I'm still undefeated in air hockey, so I wouldn't mind the opportunity to dust off my crown. I chuckle. Don never beat you, did he? Never beat me, either. I'm the only person he beat consistently was you, Ollie. Fuck off! You had a table in your basement. V smiles. How so? You could practice whenever you wanted. That's hardly fair. Sam bursts out laughing. You see, that attitude is why we take this piss out of you instead of Ollie. Don, more like John, am I right? Lena's eye twitches a little. He's not wrong. If you were a better sport about it, we'd all be teasing Ollie instead. Oh yeah, I was just thinking, I bet she doesn't like him because he abandoned Ollie. Okay. He has no hand-eye coordination, no defense game, barely ever scores a single point. Hey, I'm not that bad. Don, back me up. Lahaina doesn't grace me with an answer, instead fuming at V still. Come on. Instead of defending me, the cat joins in the teasing. With hands like those, it's no wonder why. Can you even see over the table, Ollie? Hey, we're literally the same height. The bear shakes her head. If you practice good posture, maybe. As it stands, you're shorter. You guys suck. Everyone laughs, and even Dawn gives a soft chuckle. There was something different going on. My heart beats a little slower. Perhaps because the atmosphere had lifted, we weren't fighting anymore. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Teresm Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!